Jack Campbell. Let's go. Let's go.
Meat missile, baby.
The meat missile. Lions breakout player of 2024?
Question mark?
It's a question mark, man. Shout out to Ron Burgundy. Right?
I'm Ron Burgundy. It is. No, this is huge. Jack Campbell, him taking a step here in season number 2, I think is going to be massive for this Detroit Lions defense. He was one of those, probably you might say of all those first 4 picks, everyone had maybe the most certainty or highest expectations for him playing, coming in, maybe wearing the green dot over Alex Anzalone or maybe earning that throughout the season. And he had a good year. He continued to get better. It just started slow. It seemed fast for him. The game seemed fast. There were some missed tackles, missed reads. I'm looking for Jack going into year 2, now to have that comfort behind him, understand things clearer, be able to make decisions a little faster and play free out there. When you get to play free, you're not thinking too much. That's when you start playing fast. And Jack Campbell's athleticism, despite what we say about him being a run-stuffing type linebacker, his athleticism is elite. He can go sideline to sideline. We just didn't really get to see it too much last season. He had 89 tackles, though, which was second on the team, 2 sacks, 5 tackles for losses, 1 pass defended. I want to see that jump up to 110-plus sacks. That would be an amazing year.
Right.
110-plus tackles.
He'd be by far the MVP of the
real
league.
Best player ever.
I'm not as much worried about
110
sacks.
sacks in a season?
Yeah, that would be a big one. I wonder if there's probably never even been a team with that many.
No, not at all.
That'd be insane.
I doubt that.
But I'm looking just for him to take that next jump. The game's going to slow down, and having him there next to Anzalone, then depending on the emergence, Derek Barnes, Jalen Reeves-Maybin, maybe they go get a free agent or pick someone in the draft. I don't know. But Jack Campbell, to me, he's a huge part of 2024 Detroit Lions' success.
He has to be because, like I said, I believe that linebacker unit, I believe that's the one that's closest to being able to get to elite, both based on what they can do through the draft or free agency, but as well as the players they already have on the roster, man. And Jack Campbell, like you already said, is going to be a big part of that. One thing that I really liked as the season went on, and this isn't the only breakout candidate player we're going to talk about. We're profiling Jack Campbell and some of these players. I believe Brian Branch is somebody we're going to have to talk about as we kind of get further into our breakout player series. But Jack Campbell is somebody who, as the year went on, I saw his athleticism kind of turn up. I saw his smarts. I saw his ability to kind of gauge, all right, play action. It's not a run. Let's get back into coverage. That's something that I really liked as the season went on. And his solo tackles, he continued to wrap up cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. I remember in years past looking at some of our linebackers. We've had some heavy hitting linebackers, but I got so frustrated with some of these arm tackles, with the way that they just couldn't wrap up. This year, just kind of across the board, I did see more textbook tackling. We got to do something about when we get into the backfield near these quarterbacks, because that's where it kind of started to make my head explode a little bit. But Jack Campbell is somebody who, as the year went on, I got more and more confident about the type of player he is and the type of player he's going to be. Keji, what do you think about Jack Campbell as a breakout player of the year in 2024?
I think he definitely should be. And when you think back, when the Lions first drafted this guy, a lot of people thought that he would probably take over that starting role. But thank God we had it at Alex Anzalone back there that he could learn from. Because like you said, Broder, there was moments where we saw, okay, he's trying to learn on the fly. He's picking things up. There was times where he hesitated, but you look at what this guy brings to the table already. He's already a great tackler. He plays the run great. And he's not bad in coverage. I really think that's just the only part of his game he needs to work on is his coverage ability. He's even showed flashes in that department. So I definitely look forward to what he can bring to this defense moving forward. You're looking at your Mike of the future, guys. So I expect him to take a big step up, especially in terms of tackles. Hopefully he can get better in coverage duties. But yeah, man, Jack Campbell, be on the lookout.
We saw his confidence explode after that New Orleans Saints game where he had to step in and start for Alex Anzalone, who missed with the thumb surgery. Yeah. And again, it was a game that started slow for him too, but he started to pick it up in that game, and you could see just the type of difference he can make going sideline to sideline, being that all-everything linebacker that people started to project after he was drafted at 18 last year. So think of a whole season of that experience. That's what I'm looking for. He's going to get stronger, he's going to get faster, but now he's going to get slower, smarter, and the game is going to slow down.
Yes. Yep. And honestly, I wouldn't expect anything less. the pedigree comes from, the college he comes from, the coaching he's gotten. I believe he was playing a position that might be a little bit more difficult to step out into the field in year one and be an absolute star. But to be able to see all of the tools there, to know that this is something that's really in the making, is what should make all Lions fans believe and excited about his potential to be a breakout player. The cool thing, though, is that the Lions have several players that contributed in big ways this year, but we all know that there's major improvements that they can also make in the coming season and it's in the years ahead. That's what I like about what Brad Holmes has done, especially with these rookies. I heard one of our other shows yesterday, I believe it was on Ermanni and Edwards. They were wondering, and they asked the question, is this something Brad Holmes can do again? Can he go out there and find more of these kind of young players and rookies that can absolutely contribute? And when you talk about looking for a type of player, these types of players, man, with Jack Campbell up here on the back wall, these types of players, these are the ones that Brad Holmes has continued to identify. He's already done it year after year after year. You talk about a Penei Sewell here, and some people can say, hey, that was an easy pick. You talk about Aiden Hutchinson. Hey, that's an easy pick. A team passed on both of those players, man.
Exactly.
I'm not going to sit here and just be like, this is something very easy, because we've seen the Detroit Lions in years past pass on these type of players. But then when you get down into the nitty-gritty of the draft, and you have to go out there and find playmakers, contributors, he's done this now 3 years in a row where he's found starters, where he's found the future of this team, where they're contributing now, and you know that these players are going to pan out in the future as well. Serious football players, athletic football players, versatile football players, and guys that are willing to do anything for their team. That's what I love about guys like Jalen Reeves-Maybin and Malcolm Rodriguez. And I believe that linebacker room, they're all kind of cut from the same cloth. It seems like they're like, you know what? Whatever the team needs me to do, whatever coach tells me to do, that's what I'm going to do, and then some. Jack Campbell, man.
Yeah, so as we get into our draft coverage, we start covering the scouting combine, the NFL combine coming up. These are the type of things we need to start looking for now. We're going to see all the athleticism, all the football skills out on the field. But now, after we've gotten a hint, a tease of what happens behind those doors in the interviews from inside the den this past year, now that's the things we're going to need to be watching these interviews. We're going to need to be watching, I should say, the press conferences that are live or that are shown on the NFL Network. There's intangibles. There are things that we don't know exactly what Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and squad are looking for, but we're going to need to start keeping an eye on some of these non-athleticism related things, non-numbers. This is where it starts to change.
Yeah, definitely, because that's where Brad Holmes' eye is. I know that a lot of people want probably a linebacker that has that end-to-end speed just right away. But that's why I like what Brad Holmes said about his evaluation of players. His evaluation, if we would have gone with, some of the numbers at the combine, is Brian Branch even a Detroit Lion?
That's true.
No, that's why.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, a lot of teams passed on him because of some of these types of things. Is Amon-Ra St. Brown a Detroit Lion if he's going by just simply what the numbers say?
Yeah. Numbers said Ryan Leaf was going to be the greatest quarterback of all time. Jamarcus Russell. I mean, the list of quarterbacks goes on, but now let's get into these other positions. Brian Branch is absolutely the perfect example. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's not like he had awful numbers, but what was it, a 4.5 40, and all of a sudden that forces him to slip into the second round.
It's crazy.
Brad Holmes still has the balls to trade back and sort of weasel around that second round until he finds we can't do this anymore. We got to step up and just take our guy. And what a pick! He knew Brian Branch was their guy from the start. If they thought they needed to get him at 18, I have pretty high certainty that they're taking Brian Branch at 18. But for whatever reason, the narrative changed because of his numbers at the scouting combine. Come on. Kidding me?
And James, I'm going to read a couple of the chats here. James Canella said, Jack Campbell is good, but was he worth a first-round pick? He's more of a second-round linebacker to me. I hope I'm wrong, though. And that's the thing. Brad Holmes is the GM in Detroit right now, where a lot of us are just wrong. A lot of us are wrong. He's the one that's realistically been right throughout this entire process. And that, to me, is what, honestly, it kind of adds this extra layer to what I believe Jack Campbell can be because of whatever Brad Holmes saw in him. And he said, when you talk about this longevity that he says this team is built for, I believe that their internal growth, their development, their ability to coach up, their ability to say we're going to get the right kind of coaching, positional coaches around these guys, bring in the right types of players to help these guys, these younger guys. That's where I'm just like, you know what? I believe Jack Campbell was the right pick exactly where they got him. I'm not going to second guess Brad Holmes until he shows that he's no longer that guy. And Hoof-hearted. He also said Campbell developed. Yeah, I love that name, by the way. Campbell developed very well for a rookie linebacker as the season went on.
Yeah.
It was very encouraging.
Yes.
Very encouraging.
He had that trajectory going up, and we can totally talk about, is he a first-round value, second or third? Maybe that's still to be determined, but the fact that they hit
Brad Holmes value.
the fact that they hit on Laporta and Branch in the second round, it almost makes it a wash to me. The second rounders are first rounders, so the fact that you got your guy and you still got your two other guys, it's hard to look back on that and say, man, we probably should have taken someone else at
Right.
18.
And this was a long-term investment. He was the best linebacker in the draft.
By far.
By far. So, yes, positional value, you might want to wait till the second round. But if you see your guy, you identify your guy, go get your guy. There's no problem with taking a linebacker with the 18th pick in the draft. Especially when you look at, like I said, this guy is going to be your linebacker of the future. He is going to be leading this defense going forward. Anzalone, while I love him, he's only really a stopgap. Jack Campbell, this is going to be Jack Campbell's defense going forward.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, you absolutely go up and get your guy if that's the case.